This week, I'm going to lead you through a slow flow practice for backbends. Our peak pose is going to be the wheel pose. So we're going to open through the front line, shoulders, and engage and strengthen through the back line. Let's get started. For this week's practice, you don't necessarily need any props. I'm going to lead you through this flow without any props. However, if you like using blocks under hands, for example, you could have a couple of blocks somewhere nearby. But I'll lead you through this flow without any props. And we're going to start from lying down on the back. So make yourself comfortable for a couple of minutes lying down on the back. You could start with legs extended, some form of Shavasana pose, or you could have your knees bent. Wherever you feel, you could spend a couple of minutes as we start with our focus on the breath. And I suggest today bringing one hand onto the belly and the other hand somewhere on your rib cage where you can feel your ribs. And then give yourself a few slightly deeper breaths in and out. And give yourself some time here to play with your breath. Play with sending a few breaths down to the belly. Just notice how that feels. And then also play with sending a few breaths out to the ribs, so that kind of lateral breathing. And when we practice our lateral breathing, we might also focus on engaging our abdominal muscles at the same time, so we can have that abdominal engagement, which will help us in back bends, creating support for the spine. But we can still take full breaths out to the ribs, so breathing out to the sides. And you can also play with a few chest breaths. So I like to think of inhaling towards the chest bone. Or you might also think about breathing towards the top ribs. Or even breathing towards your collarbones, whatever visualization works for you. But just being aware of how you can send your breaths to different parts, and you can then play with those breaths as we go through the practice as well. Take a couple more breaths here, in and out. And then if you have your hands still on your body, bring your hands and arms either next to your sides, or you could open them out to the sides or slide arms overhead. We're going to slowly bend the knees, bring feet on the mat and leave a little gap, leave some space between the feet. We'll start with some windshield wipers. So start to gently swing your legs from side to side. You can allow your pelvis to rock from side to side, finding some twisting, and maybe already here finding some opening through the fronts of the hips, fronts of the thighs. For me, this is often a movement to check in how tight I'm feeling at the front line. You might explore the same. Let's do a couple more slow swings so you have time to breathe, you have time to notice how you feel. And then once you've been to the right and left the same amount of times, slowly bring your legs to center and bring your feet roughly hip width apart. We'll go into a few bridge lifts, and we'll start with arms down next to the sides. Palms could be facing up or down. Inhale on the mat, and then as you exhale, press your feet down, elevate your pelvis, your back off the mat into our first bridge pose. Inhale at the top, and then as you exhale, slowly release your back and release the pelvis back onto the mat. Now change arms to cactus arms, so elbows bent, palms facing up towards the ceiling, and we'll do same again. Try to keep your shoulders, elbows close to the mat. As you exhale again, press feet down, elevate your pelvis, your back off the mat. Feel the backs of the hand against the floor. Next exhalation, again slowly, slowly release your back, your pelvis down, and see if you can still keep that back side of arms on the floor. Now we'll change arms once more. Now we're going to step hands next to the head, fingers pointing towards the feet, elbows pointing up towards the ceiling. Wheel arms, but we're not going to go into wheel, we'll just go into the bridge once more. Exhale, press the feet down, elevate your pelvis, your back off the mat, and try to keep your elbows still pointing up as you lift your pelvis, your back off the floor. Next exhalation, slowly lower your back, your pelvis down, and then hug knees in towards the chest. We're going to open hips, bring legs into a butterfly shape. So bring feet together and now reach hands to your feet. So you lift your shoulders, your head off the mat. And then gently kick your feet away from the head, keeping your hips open, knees open. So using your legs to round your upper back, backs of the shoulders just a bit more. You can bring your chin towards the chest. Keep legs really active, feet pressing against each other. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly, slowly release your back down, release the legs, close the hips, hug knees in once more. And now start to rock yourself forward and back a few times to bring yourself up into a seat. And then bring your feet onto the mat. And now step your hands behind the pelvis. We're going to do 5 lifts up into the tabletop, the reverse tabletop pose. First round, have your fingers pointing towards your feet. Open your chest, inhale. And as you exhale, lift your pelvis off the mat, opening through the front. You could look up towards the ceiling. And the next exhalation, release your pelvis back down. Now we're going to turn fingers pointing out to the sides. Be mindful with your shoulders as we change where the arms are. As you exhale, press feet down, lift your pelvis up. You're looking for that long line from knees to your head. You can look up towards the ceiling. As you exhale again, lower your pelvis down. So using the exhalations for movement. Now we're going to turn fingers pointing away from the feet. And here again, be mindful with what's happening in your shoulders. As you exhale, press the feet down, lift your pelvis up. You might keep your elbows slightly bent. Make sure you're not hurting in the shoulders or elbows. And then exhale again, release down. And you might notice a big difference in the shoulders and arms as we change where the fingers are pointing. Again, we're going to point fingers out to the side. Second time. Exhale, press feet down. Elevate your pelvis off the mat. And try to keep inner thighs active. See if you could open the chest. And exhale again, lower down. One more time. We're going to turn again, fingers pointing towards the feet. See how it feels now. As we one more time exhale, lift the pelvis up, open through the chest, looking up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, release the pelvis down. Now for a moment, hug your knees here in the seated pose. Round your neck, bring your chin towards the chest. And send a couple of breaths towards your upper back. Or to your ribs on the back side of your body. Take one more breath in and out, hugging the knees. And then we're going to lift the back up. We'll cross the legs and lean over the shins onto hands and knees. So bring yourself onto all fours and lift into downward facing dog. Head can drop down. You can walk a couple of times from hands to hand or foot to foot. Just finding a place for your hands and feet. And then we're going to stay in this downward dog. And now as you inhale, lift your heels off the mat. And then as you exhale, lower the heels back down. Same again. Inhale, lift the heels up. Try to keep your pelvis lifted as well. And exhale, lower the heels down. 2 more times. Working through the legs. Inhale, lift the heels up. Strengthening through the shoulders. Exhale, lower heels down. 1 more time. Inhale, lift the heels up. And exhale, lower the heels down. And then from this downward dog, we're going to step left foot forward to hands. And we're going to step the hands, fingertips just a bit further forward, finding a low flying warrior 3. Now lift your right leg up behind you. Inhale there. As you exhale, lower the right foot down. You can bend your left knee. And inhale, lift the right leg up. You might extend your left leg. Open the chest. Exhale, lower the right foot down, bending the left knee. 2 more times. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Really reach head away from that right foot. And exhale, lower the right foot down. Last time. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Press down through the left foot. Reach head away from the right foot. And then exhale, lower your right foot down. Now open your right foot into triangle legs. And then inhale, lift your back up. Open the chest. We're going to now bring right arm behind the back. And then inhale, reach left arm over into reverse warrior, reverse triangle, legs extended. And next exhalation, bring your left arm down, spine back to center. Same again. Inhale and exhale, leaning into that side bend, left arm reaching over. And inhale and exhale, release back to center. 2 more times. Opening through that left side body, both feet pressing down. Inhale and exhale back to center. 1 more time. Inhale, exhale, that reverse triangle, reverse warrior. And then come back to center. Now we're going to travel to the other side of the mat. So turn your feet and bring yourself onto hands and feet into plank pose, reaching head away from the heels. Pause here to breathe, really pushing the floor away with your arms, with your hands. Next exhalation, lower yourself down onto the belly. You could keep your legs extended, hover off the mat, and then bring your chest, your belly down. We'll go into the twisting cobras. Now extend your right arm towards or over the head, over the top of the mat. Left hand stays close to your left shoulder. Inhale, peel the chest off the mat, pressing down through the hands, twisting to the left. Exhale, lower back down. Change hands and arms the other way around. Inhale, peel your chest off the mat as you twist out to the right. And exhale, lower back down. Again, change arms back to the first side. Inhale, peel the chest off the mat. Keep your legs active and long. And exhale, lower down. You can change the arms. Inhale, peel the chest off the mat. Opening, twisting chest out to the right. Exhale, lower down. One more time to both sides. Change the arms. Inhale, open chest to the left and off the mat. Exhale, lower down. Last time, change your hands and arms. And inhale, peel the chest off the mat. You might even look over your right shoulder. And exhale, lower down. Step both hands under your shoulders. Lift yourself onto hands and knees. And now round your spine into child's pose. You could lean head down to the mat, or you might bring your hands under the head. Take a couple of slightly deeper breaths in and out. Counter pose for those cobras. And then we're going to come back up into downward facing dog. So bring yourself onto hands and knees, tuck the toes under and lift your pelvis up. Again, you can adjust where your hands and your feet are so you feel stable. Now we're going to lift the heels and bend the knees. So as you inhale, lift your heels off the mat. Feel that opening across your shoulders and chest. Exhale, bend the knees. See if you can open your chest just a bit more. Then as you inhale, extend your legs. See if you can keep that opening through the chest. And next exhalation, lower heels down. We'll do this another 2 times, slowly. Inhale, lift heels off the mat. Allow head to drop down. Exhale, bend your knees. And as you bend your knees, really reach your pelvis away from the hands. Leave your chest in this open place. As you inhale, extend the legs. And then exhale, release heels down. Last time, we're really going into the shoulders. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, bend the knees, reach pelvis away from the hands, head dropping down. Leave this opening in your chest and your shoulders. Inhale, extend the legs. Exhale, lower your heels down. Good, and then we're going to step the right foot forward. So now step your right foot forward to your hands. We're going to go into those warrior 3s. Step hands or fingertips further forward and just start to hover your left leg behind you. When you're stable, exhale, drop your left foot down, bend your right knee, and then inhale, extend your back and lift your left leg up. You might extend your right knee. Same again, exhale, bend the right knee, lower your left foot down. And inhale, lift the left leg, extend the right leg maybe slightly and reach your head away from the left foot. Let's try 2 more times, so really activating the back side. Exhaling down and inhaling, lifting up. Follow your own breath. Let's try once more, exhaling down. And inhaling, lifting the leg, opening the chest away from the mat. And then exhale, step your left foot down. And now turn your left foot open onto the mat. And then as you inhale, bring yourself up into that warrior 2 or triangle legs. Now we're going to bring left arm behind the back. Inhale and exhale, reach right arm over and find that side bend. Reverse triangle, reverse warrior. Inhale and exhale, come back to center. Release the right arm down. Same again. Press down through the feet as you reach right arm up. Exhale, bend to your left. Inhale and exhale, come back to center. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhaling up, exhaling side bend. And you might look down to your left foot. Inhale and exhale back to center. And then we'll do 1 more round. Inhale and exhale, reaching right arm up and finding that side bend. And then lifting up. Release both arms. We're going to turn back to the left foot, back to where we started from. Bring hands to the mat. And again, we'll find that plank pose. Find hands roughly under your shoulders. Reach your heels away from the head and push the floor away. Actively use your legs to lift and your core to lift your pelvis up. Next exhalation, slowly bring yourself down onto the mat. And then this time, bring your hands under your head so you can lean your head down. And we're going to now lift our legs. So we're going to keep the head, upper body down. First, gently press down through the front of the pelvis. And we're going to reverse our breath pattern here. Inhale on the mat. And as you exhale, lift your right leg slightly off the mat. Keep the knees straight. And exhale, lower down. Next, in breath, lift your left leg off the mat. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your right leg off the mat. Still reaching away from the head. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your left leg off the mat. And exhale, slowly control down. 2 more times, both sides, with your own in-breath, reaching the right leg away from the head, lifting it off the mat, and exhaling down. Slow breaths, inhaling, reaching the left leg off the mat, and exhaling down. So the leg stays long. Head is also reaching forward away from the feet. 1 more time, right leg. And lower down with your out breath. Last time, in breath, reaching the left leg just slightly off the mat. And exhaling down. And then we're going to lower both legs down and just rock the pelvis a couple of times from side to side. We're going to go into full bow pose from here. So now bring arms next to your sides and bend your both knees. And see if you could reach hands to your feet. If not, that's not a problem. Then just keep reaching arms behind you. If you are taking hold of your feet, you could either hold the outside of your feet or the inside of your feet. Just make sure it's not hurting in your shoulders, not hurting in the knees or back. And now this could be your bow pose. You can stay low down. This is going to be quite a long bow, so choose an edge that feels manageable. Start to press down through the fronts of the pelvis and fronts of the thighs towards the floor. If you want to go a tiny bit higher up, inhale, lift or just peel your chest slightly off the mat. Just very lightly pulling back with your legs, but we're not going to do a high bow pose today because now we're trying to stay here between 5 and 10 breaths. So really practicing finding an edge that is sustainable and finding an edge where you can breathe. We're going to need our breath when we attempt the wheel pose, so this is a good place to practice that. If you feel that you can't breathe, you can always go lower down. You might look forward. You might also look down towards the mat. See if you could take 2 or 3 more breaths in and out. If there's any pain, you can always come out of the pose earlier. And then after those few breaths, slowly bring your chest down. Let go of your feet. Bring hands under shoulders. Now we're going to lift onto hands and knees. tuck the toes under, and go into a brief downward dog, just to open the backs of the legs. And you might shake the head as well from side to side. Breathe in and out. And then we are going to come back down onto hands and knees. So lower your knees down. On all fours, now reach your left arm up towards the ceiling, opening your chest to the left. And then exhale, slide your left arm under the right arm so that you can lean your left shoulder, the side of the head, onto the mat. And you can stay here or reach your right arm overhead. Or for an extra challenge, you could now reach right leg behind you and either keep toes on the mat or find your balance, hovering your right leg up in the air. A bit like we did in that Warrior 3 earlier. Reaching head and reaching right foot away from each other. Strengthening the core. Take another breath in and out wherever you are. And then if you have your right leg up in the air, bring your foot down. Bring your both knees to the mat. Step right hand under the right shoulder. And inhale, twist. Again, to the left, reaching the left arm up. And then bring your both hands on the mat. We're gonna lean forward and lower our belly down. So lower down onto the mat. And next in breath, lift into cobra pose. It could be a bigger or smaller cobra. Exhale, lower your chest back down. And then inhale, lift onto hands and knees and round your back into child's pose. Head can drop down. Breathe in and out in child's pose. And then bring yourself back onto hands and knees. We'll go into that thread the needle on the other side. Now leave your left hand down, and as you inhale, twist to the right. Reaching right arm up. And exhale, slide right arm under the left arm. You can bring your right shoulder, your head, the side of the head on the mat. If you want, extend your left arm overhead. And then the extra challenge, you could extend your left leg behind you. Or even start to hover your left leg up in the air. Find an edge that suits you on this side. And make sure you can still breathe. Maybe breathing more to the ribs, breathing more to the chest. Take one more breath in and out. And then as you exhale, slowly bring your foot down, bring your knee down. Step left hand under left shoulder, and as you inhale, reach the right arm up. Open the chest. And exhale, bring both hands down. Again, we're going to step hands a bit further forward, lean forward, and exhale, lower chest down. Inhale to cobra pose. Keep legs long. Could be a small baby cobra, could be a bigger cobra, opening through the front. Exhale, lower your chest down. And now we're going to lift onto hands and knees and downward dog. So bring yourself onto all fours, tuck the toes under, and then lift your pelvis up. Downward dog. Now we're going to need to have our hands and feet mobile. We're going to play with the half wheel / wild thing next. First side, leave your left hand on the mat at the center of the mat, and then step your left foot to the right side of the mat, step right foot to the left side of the mat, and now start to open your front line up towards the ceiling, lifting the right hand off the mat. You look up towards the ceiling so you find yourself in a kind of half wheel wild thing, both feet on the mat. Let's change to the other side. Bring your right hand on the mat. Change your right foot to the left side of the mat, left foot to the right side of the mat, and then lift your left hand, left arm off the mat and start to open your chest up towards the ceiling, turning belly towards the ceiling, and be mindful which way your fingers are pointing. Listen to your shoulder. There's no right or wrong. Exhale again, bring left hand down. We'll go once more to both sides. So let your fingers adjust according to your shoulder. Change your feet the other way around, and then start to open your belly, open your chest up towards the ceiling. And once more, we're going to change. So feet and hands need to adjust to your hips and shoulders. Bring right hand down. Change feet the other way around. And then once more, open the front line. Up towards the ceiling. Left arm reaching over the head. Keep breathing. And then exhale. Bring both hands to the mat. Turn towards the mat. Bring your knees down and find one more child's pose. If you want, you can open your knees a bit wider. Again, head could be on the mat, or you could bring hands under the head. Try to find a place where your shoulders could rest. You might gently rock your pelvis from side to side. Take a couple more breaths in and out. Counter pose for those wild wheel poses. Let's call them that. And then slowly, in your own time, start to bring yourself up into a seat, and then bring yourself back, lying down on your back. Where we were in the beginning of the practice. It's not the end of the practice yet. But we're going to slowly find ourselves towards that wheel pose. First, once you are on your back, do a couple of windshield wipers. Just again, checking your hips, pelvis, spine can easily move. And then we're going to do a full spinal twist here. Now we're going to bring both knees to the left side of the mat. You could bring legs together if you want, and open your chest, and if it feels okay, open your right arm out to the right side. See if you can find a place where there could be a bit of a stretch around that right shoulder, maybe around the chest area. If that place does not exist for you, that's absolutely fine. But if you feel that there is potential for a stretch, then let yourself adjust your arm accordingly. Take another breath in and out in your twist. And then slowly come back to center. Follow your breath back to center. And then we'll go into that twist on the other side. So now let your legs swing to the right side of the mat. You might adjust your whole pelvis. Legs could be wide apart or on top of each other. And then let's open that left arm. And I'm saying out to the left side, but it could also be closer to your head. It could be lower down. The elbow could be bent or extended. Look for a place that works for you today. And take a few more breaths in and out. You can now let these breaths slide down towards the belly. So using that full length of the spine for your breaths. And then with your next couple of breaths, you find your way back to center. Now we are preparing for the wheel pose, but you don't have to go for a wheel pose. If you don't want to, just go for bridge. So you have that option all the time. If wheel is not for you today, just choose bridge. They are equally good back bends for our practice today. If you go for bridge, you could leave arms next to your sides. Or if you go for the wheel, step hands get next to the head like we did in the beginning. You can also do bridge pose with these arms. Now I'm suggesting fingers pointing towards your heels. Press down through the hands and first use your legs to lift up. Exhale, lift your pelvis, pull your knees away from the head, and then lift your head, your upper back, your shoulders off the mat. Keep inner thighs engaged if you are, well, whether you're in wheel or bridge, either way, keep your inner thighs engaged. So don't let your knees escape out to the sides. Keep breathing. Elbows could be bent. We don't need to fully straighten the arms. See if you could take another breath or two in and out, wherever you are. And then if you are in wheel, as you come down, bring your chin to your chest. So you land to your shoulders, back of the neck, and then the rest of the back, then the pelvis. Release the arms. And now hug your knees in towards the chest. That was our big peak pose. Next, we're going to go into figure 4 pose. So kind of thread the needle for the legs. Bring your left foot down. Open your right hip. So you make a figure 4 with your legs. And you can stay here. Maybe help with the right hand to open the right hip. Looking for some opening and release around the legs, around the buttocks, the hips. If you want to go a bit further, lift your left foot off the mat and here, reach your arms, kind of let right arm under that right shin and bring hands behind your left knee or thigh. So you could gently hug your legs closer to your belly, closer to your chest. Last option would be to extend the left leg up towards the ceiling. Maybe walk hands to the calf or ankle or even reach for the left foot if that feels good. Wherever you are, send a few more breaths down towards the pelvic area. Keep shoulders as soft as possible. So we're not tensing one area while trying to release the other. And then slowly with your next couple of breaths, bend the left knee, bring your left foot down on the mat. Extend your both legs onto the mat. And then we'll do that figure 4 on the other side. So now again, bend your both knees, leave your right foot on the mat, open your left hip. And you can stay here, maybe using left hand to gently open the left hip. Or again, you could reach hands now behind the right knee or thigh, so lifting the right foot off the mat. And then gently hugging both legs towards the chest. Or the last option was you could here extend the right leg up towards the ceiling and maybe walk hands to the calf, ankle, or even reach for the right foot. And breathe. Notice where you can soften. So releasing effort that you don't need right now. Take 1 or 2 more breaths in and out in your figure 4. And then slowly start to release the pose. Bringing your feet down, releasing that opening in the left hip. You could gently rock the pelvis, the legs from side to side. And then it's time for Shavasana pose. If you want, you could extend your legs onto the mat. You could opt for a reclining butterfly pose if that sounds like a good idea. Or maybe leave your knees bent. Any easy resting pose. Where do you feel good now? Release your hands, your arms, your feet, your hips, your back, your neck. And then bring your full awareness back to your breath. And with your mind's eye, just start to follow your breath. Those calm, soft waves of your breaths. Sliding in, sliding out. Give yourself a permission to let go of tension you don't need right now. Give yourself permission to let go of effort you no longer need. Give yourself a moment to just be. And just breathe. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your resting pose. And let yourself notice how you feel now. We're slowly arriving towards the end of our practice. Just observe how you feel here. And let yourself observe without any judgment. There's no right or wrong way to feel. After your 5 to 10 breaths, if you feel that you want to continue resting, if you want to extend your Shavasana pose, you are more than welcome to stay here a bit longer, as long as you need today. Or if you feel that it's time to start closing the practice and waking up the body from that resting pose, and gently start to move your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet, and circle your wrist joints, circle your ankle joints. They've done a lot of work today. You could reach arms overhead along the floor and lengthen your whole body long. Take a slightly deeper breath in and out. And then when you are ready, slowly roll onto one side and find an easy way up into a seat, into your own final seated pose. And that could be any easy seat where you could leave your hips, your back, your shoulders soft, and where you could give yourself a few more breaths in and out. If it's a part of your practice, you could bring your palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself for taking this time to move, to breathe, to check in with yourself and your practice. And I thank you all very much for joining in. Namaste. Thank you.